Welcome back to ZEEVERFETT Reviews. This is Matt.
And Ryan.
And today we're going to be reviewing Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi.
Released in 1983. So, we've reviewed episodes 7, 8, and 9.
We got done with the worst.
Now we're going over the best.
Starting off with things that we don't like.
Okay, I'll go ahead and go first because obviously my list is longer. I've had a longer time to think about it.
Yep.
So first thing I didn't like was the death of Boba Fett. I thought his.
So wait, are we going off like on our first reactions or now?
Now.
Well, that changes everything.
Yeah, because my first reaction, I don't remember.
Oh, I remember my first reaction.
I don't remember my first. It was too long ago. I was in awe back then, and I took both my parents at different times, and you know.
So yeah, you were into it.
I was into. Oh yeah, I was into it. I at the time in 1983, there were no flaws in the movie. The movie was flawless.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I thought the same thing.
Yeah,
I thought it was just great.
But now, with a critical eye and seeing a
well,
crap ton of behind the scenes.
Okay, if we're talking about now, then yes.
Yes, we're talking now.
Okay, then it's different.
Not then.
Okay, now.
Right now.
We
missed it. Just then.
Shut up.
Okay. So anyway, so I didn't like Boba Fett's early death in the movie because clearly he was a favorite character from Empire Strikes Back, and they killed him really quickly, and that's what George Lucas does:
establish a badass character
and then kill him or chop him in half. And then the fans, have to later revive them somehow by giving him robot legs or making him crawl out of the Sarlacc.
He crawled out of that pit.
Yeah.
We're going to find out in Season 2 Mandalorian.
Well, maybe.
That's the next villain.
Confirmed here first.
You heard it here, ZEEVERFETT Reviews first.
Right.
Not a sponsor.
Okay, not a sponsor. But thank you to our sponsors for helping us out. We appreciate it.
Who?
They wish to remain nameless.
Anonymous
as well. So so on to the second thing I didn't like in Return of the Jedi.
Your furry friends.
You know what? I loved the Ewoks back in the day. It was awesome to see Warwick and how he was, a fan and he got cast and all that kind of stuff and whatever, and what has happened with his life. Fantastic. Wouldn't change it for the world. But to know his original, George Lucas's original idea was to have the rebels go to Kashyyyk instead of Endor, or maybe it would have been called Endor because I think it's biblical. But to go to Endor, and it was a Wookiee planet, not an Ewok planet. Ewok is spelled Wookiee backwards, and it's a homonym. So to have just a whole bunch of Wookiees like you saw in Episode 3, but back then in 1983 would have been epic. A lot of people would have peed their pants. It
would have been more gritty. It would have been cool, but I feel like you can't top
mass
how
hysteria, dogs and cats living together.
Like you can't top how it was in Episode 3, though.
Episode 3. Okay, well, Episode 3 was awesome because they had all those years to perfect it, to come up with something awesome.
I don't think. Okay, then it just, in my opinion, it just doesn't. I don't think they could have made it look as great as what it did in episode. I mean, obviously, because they had time to perfect it.
No. See, that's the thing back then. Back in the day, in the 80s, 70s, 80s, they had to find workarounds. They had to find creative ways of doing what they wanted to do. They couldn't just point and click and say, okay, well, now, all we have to do is put them on a green screen, change the background, or make a digital copy or a digital model of, said actor, actress, or whatever, and put them into a scene and make them look fantastic. And if you watch movies like that over time, like if you watch the Matrix sequels, or if you watch even Episode 2 when Ewan McGregor is hugging that guy with like the 6 arms or 4 arms, it looks dated, it looks fake. It doesn't hold up as to if they a practical effect. But the awesome thing is back in the day they had to come up with really unique and interesting and creative workarounds. They had to really work with Creature Shop and get something developed, taken care of, and put on film, and we loved it. Tauntauns are we're talking, that's Episode 5, but I'm just saying there's even there's some things in Episode 6 that are stop motion, even Episode 4 stop motion, but those things could have been replicated digitally, or just like they did in Episode 7. you know.
Yeah.
But it just wouldn't have been the same.
Well, didn't they do some practical effects in 7?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that JJ was boasting, was that they were going back to practical because at that time
because he was preaching that he was a fan. He's gonna revive the series.
He's gonna revive the series.
But he just recycled some. He used some recycled content.
He used a lot of recycled content, and it didn't work out in his favor in the end. Hindsight's 2020, and oh well. Another thing that I did not like about Episode 6 was the death of the Emperor. I thought that it was like he got thrown down the chasm, but I was like, that's the same death as Boba Fett. He just went down a shaft. Is that how? And the same thing with Darth Maul. Is that how George Lucas thinks that everyone should die?
Just down a shaft.
Just throw him down a shaft. And it's like, okay, Darth Maul lived from the shaft. Boba Fett lived from the shaft. The Emperor, because of Episode 9,
everybody
lived from the shaft.
From the shaft.
If you get thrown down the shaft, you're like, he'll be back.
Coming back.
And another big thing that I didn't like, which was a twist, which wasn't originally in the plan, was Leia being Luke's sister. That wasn't in the plan in Empire Strikes Back. Gary Kurtz and George Lucas were at odds with that. Gary didn't want it. He walked away, and so George went ahead with it and just tightened up the universe a little bit more instead of expanding and making it more broad. Because he wanted to bring that series to an end. He wanted to bring it to a close. He was having personal issues during Return of the Jedi. The director, Richard Marquand, was at odds with his cast. So George did step in and he helped direct a lot of Return of the Jedi. But those are my the three things I didn't like. What about yourself?
I just didn't like Boba Fett. Short-lived. Didn't like that. I thought he was a badass in Episode 5. After coming in Episode 6. He looked cool, and then he just looks stupid whenever he saw a Jedi. It's like, dude, like, I thought you've been, like, training.
They fly now?
It looked like he didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
He's like, his blaster's gone, oh shit.
Yeah.
Wire. Oh, that's it. Fuck.
I'm screwed.
Yeah, that's it. There's nothing else he could do.
Where's Daddy Django when you need his advice? Okay, but
I didn't like that. And I guess now I didn't like how the Emperor went out. Back then, I didn't really care. I was like, all right, cool. Villain's dead.
The focus wasn't really on the Emperor. The focus was on Luke and Vader.
Yeah, Luke and Vader.
And their fight and everything. It was like, Vader threw him, it's so great. And that would have been a feat to throw somebody without a hand. Like, I don't think I could pick you up without a hand.
What, Terminator?
Anyway. Yeah.
Terminator on like in Terminator 3?
Yeah. But okay, so from that, what did you absolutely like about the movie?
I enjoyed Jabba's palace, Luke Skywalker versus the Rancor.
Okay.
I enjoyed the speeder bike chase.
Okay.
I enjoyed the Death Star sequence. As a kid, I loved that too.
With Lando?
Cool. Yeah, Lando. Yeah,
oh, okay,
I thought that was super cool. I love seeing Lando.
Okay.
And then the confrontation between Darth Vader and
Luke
Skywalker. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so a couple of things that you mentioned there. Number one, Jabba's palace. Can't get through this review without mentioning the special editions.
Yes.
Now I had the VHS of the original untouched.
I was shown the VHS. None of the.
That's
I wasn't
right.
shown the DVDs.
That's right. You were, and you're welcome for giving you that experience. Because you can clearly see the differences and the changes. Some of the changes that he made in the movies, I was fine with. Some of the additions he made, I was fine with. But some of the things, I can understand why they did it. Especially like, okay, case in point, the sequence in Jabba's palace where you have the new band, Max Rebo band, versus the old Cy Snoodle band, and they had a song there that they had to change because they lost the audio. When around the time that they were making a behind the scenes of Return of the Jedi, it was called like Jizz Whale or something like that. But then they remade that new sequence that Jedi rocks. It was
You got super close to the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, so they redid that one, and it was fun, but it wasn't as cool as the old sequence. Just made it look like just another raunchy cantina band. This one they had like lights, and they had backup dancers and all kinds of stuff. And it was like, is this Jabba's? I guess it was because it was a palace. They kind of went back and
Jabba Live.
Jabba Live.
That's what it is.
Jabba Live, streaming. I don't remember anything else that was major from the special.
The only thing I
editions
think
that
they did was
changed.
add TIE fighters into the fight for the Death Star. I think they added
Sure,
more TIE
and make it
fighters
a little bit more.
I think there was like 4, and then all of a
menacing.
sudden they added like a whole bunch of them filling up.
Kind of like when Han Solo went through that corridor and there was like Force troopers, and then now there's like 50.
Overload,
Yeah. So they went back and did other things. I don't have any problems with that. That was cool.
Hey, after playing Battlefront 2, Ewoks are pretty scary.
Ewoks are awesome now because you've had so many. They've had so many years, and the people that are working on that game were my age back in the day, or even your age now, and are looking at it through different eyes.
Yeah.
So it's like, what can they do? What's different? That's why
you don't see those little things running around, and the flashlight keeps going out.
Well, see, but that's the thing is that the Return of the Jedi sequence, the fight happened during the day.
It probably would have looked better if it was at night, and then Imperials had flashlights, and you just see these Ewoks taking them.
It would have been.
That would have been.
That would have been. But hindsight is 2020, and that's the whole
adorable in the daylight.
Adorable in the daylight. So anyway, I love the speeder bike chase. That's the thing that. That's the part that I absolutely love. When we got home after watching the movie at the theater a couple times, we would always just jump on the bikes. Not me and this guy, but me and my friends. We'd always jump on the bikes and ride around. You're still swimming, so in circles. So we were just riding around the neighborhood and just pretending, because back in the day you could use your imagination. But we always thought, hey, it'd be really cool if we were on the speeder bike. So it was an awesome sequence. It was just what, it was just the right amount of action for that sequence. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. It didn't feel like it was, like boring to watch after a while. I mean, it served its purpose. It served it well. And just watching how they did it in the behind the scenes, taking the cameras, with the Steadicam, walking through the forest, and then speeding up the footage and superimposing the actors on from the green screen to or the blue screen to that backdrop, or to those images. It was great. It was seamless for me. I loved it. So the movie, the bare bones, the story itself, I liked. It was good. I'm a Luke Skywalker fan. I'm also a Darth Vader fan. Yeah. So their dynamic was great. From the decision, well, we're not talking about episode 5, but anyway, the back and forth between those two and the introduction of Ian McDiarmid as the Emperor was great. It was fantastic. So I liked him. I thought he was great. I think that the inclusion of him in the prequels was fantastic. Just because, in episode 6, they put prosthetics on, they made him look old. Yeah. By the time episode 1 came out, it was like, well, you're old anyway, so here you go, and you don't have to have the prosthetics until the episode 3. But anyway, only other movie that I love him in is Dirty Rotten Scoundrel. So
never saw that.
No, you've seen that movie.
I've seen that movie.
You've seen that movie.
When?
Multiple times. I've shown you that movie.
Wait, who's that with?
Steve not Martin? Mother. Yes.
Oh, Steve Martin. Okay, good. Okay,
and the guy that played Alfred.
Okay, Michael
Keane.
Yes, okay, I remember. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that once. But
You've seen that twice.
Maybe twice, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And remember Ian McDiarmid, he was talking to Steve Martin, he was like, welcome to hell.
Okay, I think I remember.
Anyway, so it was awesome to see him again. Luke Skywalker, flawless. The reason why he has a green lightsaber, don't let anybody else tell you any different, is because out in Tunisia, they were filming on a blue sky, which served as an awesome blue screen, and the lightsaber would not show up with their special effects.
In the older trailer, didn't he have blue?
He had a blue lightsaber. In the old poster, he had a blue lightsaber. They changed it to green to make it more dominant in that sequence. Had that sequence been filmed on any other backdrop or whatever, it would have stayed blue throughout the whole trilogy. So don't let anybody else tell you any other reason. That's the whole reason. So take it away, Matt.
Thanks for coming down. Please comment down below any movies you want us to check out, any positive, negative feedback you would like to share with us.
Right. Leave a like.
Leave a like if you enjoy the video.
Share the video.
Dislike if you didn't enjoy the video.
Comment down below.
Thanks for watching.
See you next time.
Bye.